Estamos en Latinoamérica, en LTE Latinoamérica 2016, haciendo la cobertura. Nos visita Dirk de la empresa P3, con quien vamos a estar hablando sobre sus soluciones y lo que están presentando para los operadores en este evento. Dirk, welcome to Telesfana.com.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here. So first question, I'm not very familiar with P3, so I have to assume my audience is not either. So tell us what P3 does, so we can have an idea.
You're not the only one. Our activities in Latin America have just started. We're a global company of engineers. We provide engineering services, testing services, and project management services to three major industries. One is aviation, anything to do with airplanes.
Nice.
Automotive, anything to do with cars. You know, as a German, I like cars. I guess you too. Yeah. And third one is the most important one is telecommunications. So we provide testing services, engineering services, and project management services for the telco ecosystem.
Okay. Now, why suddenly you are interested in Latin America, where I have to assume that those three areas should be pretty much covered, I guess?
Yeah, they're global. We started out in Europe. You know, I'm German. This is where our company was founded, and we expanded over the globe. Right now, I'm living in the US. We expanded to the US, and we've got an existing operations that works in the aerospace business in Brazil.
Okay.
And recently, we started to look into the telco opportunities here in Latin America, which I think are tremendous at the moment. Not only on the handset side, you know, where we do lots of certification of handsets for operators and do testing for device OEMs around the globe to make sure that the handsets actually work in all of the different networks. Okay. Because they're so different from country to country, and also when you do roaming, you have to make sure they actually do work, and the customer is not unhappy about it. But we also do network optimization and benchmarking around the globe. We do this in Europe mainly through public benchmarks, where we publish a report about the network quality. It tells you which experience is better on which operator. Okay. And we use that data to help the operators optimize their networks, to make sure the calls don't drop, to make sure that your throughput is better, that you get more 4G LTE coverage than 3G coverage. And help them steer investments and make the right decisions. That's what we do as an engineering services company. Okay.
What would you say is your competitive advantage? As I was saying in my previous question, operators here already have companies that are helping them optimizing the network and so on, and the handset certification. So what do you think do you bring to the table that would open up opportunities for you that probably others are capitalizing at this point?
Yeah, very good question. I think it's our unique approach. There's lots of benchmarking companies out there, as you stated. That's where it ends. You know, they do benchmarking. There's lots of companies who do network engineering. Even the infrastructure vendors do network optimization and engineering, but they don't have the full view of the network, the holistic view of the network. What we bring to the table is that we have a full portfolio of engineering services. So we understand how networks work, not only for one certain technology or one specific vendor and infrastructure vendor model, but across the spectrum. We take measurements with our own measurement equipment that we have developed in-house to enable our services. We know exactly how it works, high quality data we derive, and then we use that to drive network optimizations. Because if you think about it, the network operators, in the past they have outsourced lots of engineering knowledge to third parties, so they're losing some of the capabilities of optimizing networks, fully understanding the technology behind what they're investing in and the huge investments they make into spectrum and technology. And we bundle these competencies from, in the US we say soup to nuts, so from start to end, and there's no breach in between. Okay. On top of that, we also have a strategic view on the business. That means we help you steer your investments, understand which technology to invest in, when to invest in, and do this as an independent third party. You know, we're not, as I said, we're not an infrastructure vendor. We don't want to sell you any infrastructure tools, but we can help you make the right decision to choose the best technology for your issues that you have or for your challenges that you have.
Okay, some companies have said that because operators have outsourced so much of their testing or management of the network, as you were saying, that they've lost a little bit of know-how on their own network, and that has impacted the user experience. In your view, does your solution or your approach make the operator regain some of that and not rely so much on outsourcing, or you would still follow that path of making more outsourcing?
For us, it's very important that we have that at the carriers we have competent engineers that we can talk to, right? That speak the same language. And I think that's a key for the operators to keep competencies in-house. Right? I'm not saying that because it's normally what we do. We outsource. You would expect me to say, let's get rid of all of this. No, that's not the case, because we need somebody we can talk to on eye level on technical details. We can take care of the nitty-gritty daily work, but the decision making, the understanding of the technology, we need people on eye level. So I'm all for at least keeping like the minimum amount of technology knowledge and know-how inside. And we saw in where operators that don't do this, they are in danger of losing focus on the technology. And if you look at what your assets are as an operator, it's your network infrastructure, to deliver quality. And without that, the user experience, therefore your revenue streams are in danger. So I would say a middle ground, outsourcing everything, even to us, would not be the right idea. Okay. Because we need partners, and they also need partners. We do, we bundle competencies that they don't necessarily need to have in-house all the time. Yeah. But we can do a lot for them.
I mean, obviously you're here in this event because you want to enter the Brazilian market, which is very attractive because of its size. But what's next for you? I mean, what are your plans in terms of expansion? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, so right now we're looking into options on how to get contacts with the local carriers. First reactions are really, really good. I'm highly impressed with first of all the knowledge the operators
here in Brazil or
here in Brazil, here in Brazil specifically, and at this event in particular. Next steps for us: we have an existing operation in Brazil established already for the aviation business. We just ramped up some device field certification work. Next step is to go into the network benchmarking, network performance assessment, and also optimization field. I think that's the next step with the existing contacts we have through the carrier groups. We're based in headquarters in Europe, so we have some contacts that are relevant also in Brazil. Okay. That's the next step. Ideally, what I think is necessary and what we saw was very beneficial for all of the countries that we're working is to create public awareness and transparency of network quality, to empower the customer to understand which operator excels in certain areas and has room for improvement in others,
so
and to compare them.
You're providing that information to the end user, actually.
Yeah, that's an ideal scenario, because I tell you exactly why. The reason is with that kind of transparency, that increases the pressure for the operators to improve the network quality, and in the end user benefits.
Aren't you afraid that they can get mad at you because?
They can get mad at us, but I'm not afraid of it. We work very closely with the operators. It's not a confrontational benchmarking we do. We let them know exactly what we're doing normally, get feedback from them and improvement. And because as engineers, we want to improve the network quality. Yeah. We don't want to confront anybody. And normally it's a very cooperative process. And even the carriers who are not scored number one in our test, usually when they understand our methodology and we answer the questions, they find out, they say, guys, you're actually right, we need to improve, can you help us improve our network quality? Okay. So it's more of a cooperational interworking with them.
Very good. All right, actually you're not the only company is doing this kind of marching, so they're not going to be against you. Dirk, thank you so much for letting us know, and hopefully people will visit your website and get an idea of what you're offering.
Thanks a lot. So much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.